Mara never wanted to be a hero. As the shy, convent-raised third-born daughter, she escaped the traditional fate of princesses to be married away for the sake of an uncaring throne. But her sister wasn't so fortunate, and after years of silence, Mara is done watching her suffer at the hands of a powerful and abusive prince. Seeking help for her rescue mission, Mara is offered the tools she needs, but only if she can complete 3 seemingly impossible tasks: build a dog of bones, sew a cloak of nettles, capture moonlight in a jar. But as is the way in tales of princes and witches, doing the impossible is only the beginning. Hero or not, and now joined by a disgraced ex-knight, a reluctant fairy godmother, an enigmatic grave witch, and her foul familiar, Mara might finally have the courage to save her sister and topple a throne. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, where you join me on my journey back to reading after several years away from the hobby. Today we are checking out Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. This is a really cool modern fairy tale with kind of a dark twist. It's got heartwarming characters. It's got a really cool story about revenge and personal growth. And long story short, I just absolutely loved it. So without further ado, let's get into it. And I would ask you, if you do enjoy the video, to maybe think about leaving a like on it and hitting that notification bell, because I put out new videos every single week. Okay, so the plot of this book, without spoiling anything, is there is a small it's a kingdom that's relatively small in comparison to the size of its neighbors. It's held in a power balance, and these 3 daughters, unfortunately, are held in a power balance, kind of as pawns. And the youngest, Mara, the main protagonist of this story, she is tired of seeing bad things happen to her sisters, and she is tired herself of feeling like a pawn to be moved around, or a piece on a game board to be moved around by her mother and by the royal family. And some bad things happen to her sisters. They get married off to a prince of a neighboring kingdom, which is larger and is trying to hold the smaller kingdom, use them as a pawn, essentially. And this guy, without spoiling anything, he's not a great dude, and Mara's upset, and she really wants to save them. And a bunch of crazy things happen, but she has, these 3 challenges that are impossible, and she kind of sets about on that, and weaving this, this nettle cloak out of owl wool, I think it's called, owl feather wool, something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. And it's catching moonlight in a jar, things like this that would seem impossible. And this is just the, her journey, the character she meets along the way, the cool things she experiences, and her personal, growth and journey, and hopefully triumphs at the end of it. So, character-wise, this book, just fantastic. Not a huge cast of characters, but the ones that are in here are so well done, so lovable, and they just feel like this merry traveling band that fits together, and you add, components on as you go along. And, just touching on the writing style a little bit, we'll talk about that a little bit further on. The character, the way that they're introduced and then drop back off and things like that, I just love the character work. And the things that they say are witty and powerful, and there's some great moments of advice. I did an Instagram post the other day with one of my favorite quotes from this book, talking about how you can't force people to do what you believe they should do, and sometimes you might be wrong, or most times you'd be wrong anyway at the end. Like, really cool things like that. So the characters and the plot itself, I thought they were really fun. Let's talk about writing style a little bit. This is 240 pages, so it's not crazy long, just novella length, or essentially, or maybe a little over that, I guess. But honestly, it fits this story perfectly. The pacing is wonderful. It's, very character focused, because the plot is a very simple one of revenge, but it's the themes and the characters, and there's these personal, realizations, and the journey that they, and specifically Mara, but her companions as well, including, my current new favorite animal companion in a book, Bone Dog, cleverly named, a reanimated dog that is just the bones, and Mara names him Bone Dog. And the way that she's written to be self-deprecating, but almost like, no one is going to know they're a hero in a story as it's going along and thinking, I can't do this, it's impossible. And then you're doing it and things are happening. The way that she was written and the wit and the humor, there was just so many times I was pulling out my phone while I was reading and just snapping pictures of pages going, I've got to come back to read that one again. I've got to reread that quote. I'm most certainly going to reread this book. This is something I'd maybe like to read, to someone almost. It would be cool to, like a fairy tale, like we used to tell each other stories. It's just such a heartwarming story. I banged it out in, like a day and a half. And that was with doing other things, so you could probably finish this pretty quickly. Writing style, I gotta say, I just absolutely loved it. The pacing was great. It was a great balance of character work. The plot was consistently driving forward. You never slowed down. And I was afraid, my only gripe is that I wish it was a little bit longer, but honestly, I think that this was probably the perfect length. It just felt right. And normally I don't want to spoil anything about the ending, but I like the way it wrapped up. I really do. And I usually like a rug pull ending or something like that, or something a little different. But this, I was secretly hoping as I was reading, I'm like, please just wrap up the way I want you to, because I'm liking this so much and I want everybody to be happy. Mara deserves it. Everybody else deserves it. Her sisters deserve it. Well, her sisters deserve it. Just everybody that's involved with her deserves it. And it was such a satisfying conclusion. So I'm not going to belabor these points. Again, like I said, I think you should just absolutely read this. I absolutely loved it. I think you should go out and read it right away, listen to the audiobook, whatever. I can't say enough good things about this. It's just one of those stories. This has got to be a 9.5 out of 10 for me. I mean, it's hard to be, I don't know if anything's perfect. I'd have to really, really change my life, to maybe hit that top spot like that, a 10 out of 10. But this is just, I have no complaints. It was so fun, heartwarming, strong, independent female character that's written in a way she's relatable, but she's not perfect. She's got her flaws. She grows as a person. And she also is able to rely on people around her, no matter who they are, and learns how to work within this, group of friends. And really, who she is by the end of this is so much more than when she started. It was just such a wonderful journey. So again, should you read Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher? Hell yeah, you should. Absolutely. Go read it right now. And until next time, let's get back to reading.